So this is the very beginning of the binocular single vision presentation, and I'm not going to continue this binocular single vision presentation. This is just an introduction of binocular single vision and in its sterepsis, and I want to go deeper into this introduction of binocular single vision and its sterepsis. Not I'm going to start the whole series of binocular vision. I have a plan for, I think, in 5-6 months later. So let's discuss about the introduction of binocular single vision and its sterepsis. So basically, binocular vision means with the two eyes, that special attribution of vision, that we have both eyes open and different and richer than the alone one eye. So binocular vision means when we see binocularly both eye, but we we can imagine that retina of right eye and retina of left eye. Let's take an example. There is image and there is the same image. Isn't it? One object has two images and two eyes, but we don't see that person as a two, we see as a one, and that summation of the two images in different eye, or at least different retina, and is actually the whole process is called binocular single vision. Basically, it's occur in the both eye binocularly at the same time. Final result is single, so that's why binocular single vision is okay. So binocular vision and binocular single vision, this is the difference between binocular vision and binocular single vision. Actually, two eyes and the image gets one at the final analysis is binocular single vision. Sometimes two eyes, they see the two different things alternatively. If you see one thing, then another eye is suppressed, and if you see one thing and another eye is suppressed. And this is classical example of alternate exotropia or alternate isotropia. So where two eyes has equal vision, six vision, but they cannot produce binocular single vision. They only produce binocular vision. Okay, so that's the case. Okay, let's just forget about it. And binocular single vision is coordinated use of the two eye in order to produce single unified image of the three dimension, isn't it? Single unified image, because two retina has two images, but at the final analysis it produces one images in our brain, isn't it? Not at present, but acquired with the development. Binocular single vision is not present at birth, but acquired, okay, isn't it? The normal binocular single vision is bifoveal with no manifestation deviation. Obviously, but normal binocular single vision means so no manifest deviation. There must not be manifest deviation, and definitely it's a bifoveal vision, means two foveas have same image, and at the final conclusion next one. Okay, this is the picture with corresponding points and non-corresponding points. Let me describe first corresponding points. So corresponding points means, I have already told you this presentation is going to be a very introductory presentation. I'm going to describe topics, points, and the various terms to you. So corresponding points in the retina means corresponding retinal points are the points on the retina of each eye that have same visual direction. Don't It's a visual direction. Just remember that thing. It's very important. This two retina. Let's take example. This two retina has 2 points. They have same visual direction. Means let's take example of fovea of this and fovea of this retina. Both are directed to one object, isn't it? When we see something, if our eyes are not manifestly deviated, then definitely two foveas focus on the same thing. So that's why visual direction is same for the two eyes. So that's why corresponding retinal points are the points on the retina of each eye, okay, of each eye that have same visual direction. So there must be, and every retina has corresponding point in every other eyes. Okay, when an object is fixed by both eye, its image fall on the corresponding point retina of the two eyes. It's always there, and corresponding retinal points are important for binocular vision and sterepsis, which are the ability to perceive depth and distance figure. See, if you can't describe corresponding retinal points, it will be a huge failure, because the basis of binocular vision is described on the basis of corresponding points. So you have to understand corresponding point before moving on to the next point. So that's why, see, corresponding points is always phobia, and another eyes phobia is always corresponding point. Don't worry about it. But see, in this picture I am just trying to tell you is BL and BR are corresponding points. See, the temporal of this eye and the nasal of the another eye have same corresponding point, and same thing, nasal of this eye and temporal of this eye, point of this eye has what, same corresponding point. So corresponding point, fovea and fovea are always corresponding, but at the same time you have to understand the nasal point of one retina has temporal point in another retina has a corresponding point. At the same time, temporal point of one retina has corresponding point in another eye at the nasal point. So it's central important to understand this picture. Okay, just pause the video, understand it, and move forward. So disparity. What do you mean by disparity? Disparity is central for the sterepsis, isn't it? So I'll want to describe what is disparity. Disparity means the difference in the location or angle at a subject seen by two different viewpoints, such as left and right eye. Disparity means different location or angle objects seen at two different viewpoints, such as left and right eye. Whenever you see something from right eye and from left eye, it will be definitely different, a slight different, and that slight different angle or slight different location is called disparity. In retina we call retinal disparity. Okay, so two types of disparity, which is binocular disparity and retinal disparity. Let's move on. So we will come back to definite corresponding point disparity again and again, but wait till I'm just trying to explain this thing. This prerequisite for the development of binocular single vision is so crucial that it is the basis to explain everything. Something like that, why it's so difficult for people to adapt to new glasses if it is like astigmatism, high astigmatism, or if high anisometropia or high anisoconia, and everything is explained by these prerequisites. Okay, you have to understand this concept. First, to develop binocular fixation is corresponding retinal points. Fixation must be at corresponding. One phobia is corresponding to another phobia. That's the normal retinal corresponding. If fixation is another thing, one phobia is corresponding to another point, non-foveal point, then it will be anomalous corresponding retinal corresponding, which is called ARC, isn't it? So that's why first you have to have corresponding retinal points at the phobia, and then visual field of the two eyes must overlap in large extent. You know that approximately 100, I think 120 to 140 degrees of visual field in front of our eyes are overlapped, and it's so crucial that it have to be overlapped. Otherwise we don't have playground over which binocular single vision occurs, isn't it? So that's why visual field of the two eye must overlap. Image form at the retina must be approximately. That's crucial. See this line. Image formation on each retinal must be similar. Similar in context of what? Similar in context of size and shape. Similar in context of contrast and color too. It's so important. That's why we do what? See, we break the fusion. Doing what? Doing presenting different shape, presenting different color, presenting different intensity, presenting different shapes, presenting different size of the picture in both eye. Can't you see in synaptophore? There are different size. Like for example, case in lion. But if you want to examine fusion, then there is a rabbit with the tail and without the tail, with the ear and without the ear. Well, almost the shape is similar. Okay, if there is, so for example, if size one eye has different size than another eye, there is impossible for binocular vision development. So that's why amblyopia happens, isn't it? So there, it's quite difficult to, quite important to understand these four things, isn't it? For having binocular vision development, it's central important. Two eyes have same retinal size image. Two eyes have same sharpness of the image, same size of the image, same color of the image, and same intensity of the image, and same contrast of the image. So it's central important to have all the things makes sense. And the last is common visual direction, isn't it? One eye fixate on the object, then another eye should fixate on that object, so that visual direction is common. Otherwise one eye goes in this direction, another eye goes in this direction, there will be no binocular single vision. That's why in case of deviations, in case of manifest deviation, it's very difficult to have binocular single vision. So just remember these things. These are the points which is very crucial, no matter what. Whenever you are trying to treat patient with a contact lens, trying to treat patient with a size lens, trying to treat patient with a spectacle lens, no matter what, you have to understand. And whenever you are trying to understand about the fusion and breaking the fusion, or maintaining the fusion, or maintaining therapy, or whatever you are doing, you have to understand these crucial points. What are the prerequisites for the development of binocular single vision? Each and every point, just remember this. Okay, moving forward. And Obviously, reasonably clear vision in both eye. It must be there. I have told you that it must be sharp and same contrast, same color, same size, same shape. Okay, precise coordination between the two eyes in all direction of gaze. It's very important. And anatomical integration of visual pathway. Obviously, it's not vision. It's not just about the ball of eye. Then after optic nerve, there is another world, because approximately two-thirds of the human brain is covered by our visual sensation, isn't it? And that's quite a large portion of brain. You must understand, it's not about the eyeball only. Whenever you leave the eyeball off through optic nerve, it's another story. So you have to understand. You have to anatomically integrated visual pathway. So it's crucial. So why do humans have only two eyes, and why not more than or less than two eyes? Obviously, okay. Let's discuss. The lower species like spider or insects possesses several eyes, isn't it? But that does not imply the insects see the better than a human, is it? Obviously, more evolved animal like primates and always have two eyes. So why two eyes? Why not multiple eyes? So lower animals eyes have opposite direction and 360-degree wide field of view, isn't it? Like example of what do you say, like bird or anything. Most predator animal, including humans, eyes face in same direction. For sterepsis, I'll tell you, because in our case we see forward, not everywhere, isn't it? Not always having two eyes advantages, because see, we have two eyes. That's why we have strabismus, amblyopia, suppression, even diplopia, isn't it? So having coordinated two eye, uh, if doesn't work, then all these problems fall. And most important, neural circuits are visual systems, isn't it? But advantage of binocular single vision, the most important advantage is sterepsis. It's a very crucial important advantage. Increase of field of view, but field of view in case of binocular field of view, isn't it? Binocular field of view increases. Enhances visual activity, contrast, and motor function. Because see, in case of visual acuity, one eye visual acuity and both eye visual acuity is far better in case of contrast and color. Even both eye visual acuity has one advantage, which is it hides the optic nerve, sorry, uh, blindness due to the optic nerve head, isn't it? Optical defect eye made less obvious than normal. Defective vision in part of the field is marked by another part. That's what I am calling blind spot. One eye's blind spot is hide by another eye's visual field. So another eye's blind spot is hide by another eye's visual field. So safety factor and the partial to complete vision. One eye lost, then we have another eye. That's a safety factor, isn't it? So basically, now talking about grades of binocular vision, it's very important to talk about grades of binocular vision whenever we talk about theory of binocular vision. We have to talk about grades of binocular vision, and then we have to talk about the few important terms. Okay, it's like corresponding point and panums fusional area, horopter, and then answer is completed. Okay, so grade of binocular vision, three grades, as we always all good grades: simultaneous macular perception, fusion, and sterepsis. What is simultaneous macular perception? Which is grade one. Ability to see two dissimilar objects, not mutually antagonistic images simultaneously and superimpose them. That's a simple thing. Just see, this is case and this is lion. I don't know, sorry for my picture. This is lion, and if this image projected to our left eye and this image projected to our right eye, then what we will see, we will see line on the case, isn't it? We see line on the case. So that's the simple thing. We can see two dissimilar objects simultaneously and to superimpose them. It's very simple, simultaneous macular perception. And after simultaneous macular perception, grade 2 is very important, fusion. And I have already told you what are the prerequisites for the fusion. Image must be same size, same shape, same color, same contrast, focus same, and the two eyes should have same visual direction. Yes, obviously, if the visual direction is another point and eye brain adapted to abnormal retinal correspondence, there can be fusion, but that's not a good fusion, definitely. Okay, so ability to choose slightly dissimilar images to form each other and blend into the one. That's why I have told you in case of synaptophore, just watch the simultaneous macular perception slide. They are definitely different, like case and tiger. But in case of fusion, they are slightly different. What is that? The rabbit with one holding flower, another holding nothing. One has tail, another has nothing. But Both are same rabbits. So that tail which is absent in one picture and which is present in another picture definitely have something to do with the feedback mechanism too. But they are slightly different. At the same time, slightly different doesn't matter. Totally different is different thing. There and there won't be a fusion. So for fusion, prerequisites is same shape, same color, same contrast, focused, and same direction. These are always important. Okay, always important thing. So normal range of fusion is convergence 30 degree and divergence 5 degree in particle. These are the these are just motor thing. I'm not talking about motor thing. I'm talking about fusion in the sensory thing. Okay, let's forget about it. It's very important, slightly different, and our brain can combine it. Sterepsis, that's a great thought. That's a very, very, very end stage of the grades. It's a third step and appreciate with three dimension with the depth perception. Okay, three dimensions with the depth. Sterepsis is disparity retinal must be stimulated. Okay, I'll after this slide it's very important we are going to discuss about sterepsis. That's why these are the grades. Grades is called simultaneous macular perception, fusion, sterepsis. Okay, these are the grades, and the most important from earlier to the last is we have to have a simultaneous macro perception, we have to have fusion, and then after we'll have sterepsis. That's another story. But uh, another story is what is sterepsis. It's very crucial. You have to understand sterepsis, otherwise binocular single vision theory is incomplete. Okay, for sterepsis we have to define it first. The perception of the relative depth object, the basis of binocular disparity, which reflects on the slightly different image presented on each eye. The ability to fuse image simultaneously horizontal disparity element with panels fusional area result in the appropriate depth of sterepsis. Okay, just forget about it. What is okay? Let me explain. What is a horopter? If this is horopter, okay, horopter. If this is horopter, then what is horopter? Horopter means, just remember one thing. Horopter means every point has corresponding point, and if you place the object here and they stimulate corresponding point on each eye, and then in each space we plot a line that corresponds to corresponding retinal points, and that line is called horopter. Is it? That's a horopter. And then this horopter means it forms due to the corresponding point. Okay, corresponding the, and in its space there is forward and backward. There is a space, and that space in which binocular single vision can be found is called panums fusional area. That's called area. Okay, I think we have discussed about, yes, horopter. The sets of point in the space, these are single by both eye and they are fixed at the certain point. So corresponding point of two retinas which are corresponding to have same position relative to the center of the each eye. So that's what horopter means. It forms only by corresponding point, not by image disparity point. So horopter is useful to understand how brain combines information of both eye. Okay, horopter means it's directly related to corresponding points. Okay, Vidmura circle is just a mathematical model of the horopter. Okay, it's just a mathematical model. It's not a real horopter, just a mathematical model. Okay, just read about it with pausing video. And what about wait. What about the panums fusional area? Okay, just wait. Horopter, horopter means it's just a line which corresponding area forms in this space. But at the same time, panum fusion area is not a line. It's a area. It's an area, and that area corresponding to forward of the horopter and backwards of the horopter. Okay, corresponding to forward of the horopter and backward of the horopter. But that panum fusional area gives binocular single vision. Okay, that panum fusional area corresponds to not corresponding retinal points, but disparity. Disparity point means not corresponding. Like right eye phobia, left eye slightly different phobia. That's what. Okay, so that's why I'm just telling you, which is very important. Just remember this. Panum's horopter means a single line That's a line. It's always a line. It's not an area. Okay, which is made by corresponding points. But panels fusional area is an area front of the horopter and back side of the horopter in which we see binocular single vision. Okay, we have sterepsis, but we do not have diplopia. That's a great concept you have to understand. See, there's a very few difference between the diplopia and the sterepsis. See, diplopia and sterepsis has one thing common, that they stimulate non-corresponding point. Okay, they both stimulate non-corresponding point. Just wait. They both stimulate non-corresponding point. Whether it's diplopia, whether it's sterepsis. But non-corresponding points within panum's fusional area gives sterepsis. Okay? Non-corresponding points within panum's fusional area gives sterepsis. But non-corresponding point outside of the panum's fusional area gives diplopia. That's the difference. Are you getting the concept? Are you getting the concept or not? I'll repeat it once more. The difference between and the uh, diplopia and the sterepsis is very simple. Sterepsis and diplopia both stimulates non-corresponding point of our eyes, but sterepsis happens here. Non-corresponding point, which is this and this, maybe what? Non-corresponding point that lies within the panum's fusional area, and diplopia stimulate non-corresponding point outside of the panum's fusional area. Okay, one is here and another is here. Let's take an example. This will stimulate what? This will create diplopia, and within the corresponding point this will create sterepsis. That's the difference. Okay, I think you got the concept. It's very important to get that concept. Okay, so sterepsis is pre-attendedly automatically with a conscious effect. Direct depth is determined by the displacement of images. Okay, wait, just leave it. Okay, just leave it. Horopter with Miller circle. Physiological diplopia. So basically, what is physiological and pathological? That diplopia which normally exists in every person. Okay, physiological diplopia, normal phenomenon that occurs when the object are not into the plane of focus, appear double, and physiological diplopia does not indicate the eye is a problem or anything. It can demonstrate holding the fingers and the okay, whatever. Physiological diplopia means same thing. One object is here, one is outside of the panum's fusional area. Okay, so the eye are working together properly. So monocular depth perception, yeah, we know these things. It's a visual perception things. We are not going to discuss this. Okay, so stereo has different thing. Okay, it determines smallest and possible and whatever it is. So hyperacuity, I'm not going to talk about this all these things. So interpupillary distance, there are, yes, it's factors that definitely affect the stereo. So I'm not going to cover this point too. Just pause the video and you can see what I am talking about in the final analysis is. Let's me conclude here with 1 minute. Binocular single vision means, in a theory, there are two things you have to understand. First, grade. Grade means what? Simultaneous macular perception, fusion, and sterepsis. For defining all these things, you have to know certain points. That's what is corresponding points, what is horopter, and what is panum's fusional area. And another most important prerequisites of binocular single vision. I have told you prerequisites. Visual direction must same. Image fall on the two eye must be same size, same color, same contrast, and same sharpness. Isn't it same orientation? Visual direction must be same, and visual pathway must be integrated. That's the thing. And in case of corresponding point, every retina has a one point that is corresponding to another point. Okay, that's the corresponding point. And what is the very basics of corresponding point? These point must have same visual direction. Okay, what is horopter? Horopter is a line that formed by corresponding point of two eyes. Finished. And forward and backward of the horopter, there is a space area in which we see binocular single vision even though there is an stimulation of non-corresponding point. That's crucial important, and it will gives to sterepsis. If non-corresponding point is stimulated and it's outside of panums fusional area, then it will give diplopia, and definitely there is diplopia, physiological and pathological. Let's not discuss about it. So panums fusional area is an area in which non-corresponding point is stimulated, and even stimulating non-corresponding area, it will not give rise to diplopia, it will give rise to sterepsis. And away from the panum fusion area, let's take an example. One point is here, one point is away from the panum fusion area. It will create diplopia, and one point is here and one point is here within panum fusion area. It will create sterepsis. Okay, that's the basis of binocular signal vision. Okay, I have taken few references, but I don't have currently that references, so I have not shown. This is the presentation. I think that's the very basic of binocular signal vision, and I hope you understand few things from this presentation. Okay, bis dann, tschüss.